Sweet surrender. The buttercream swirled like a miniature blizzard on the turntable. Maya, perched on a stool in her bakery, piped delicate roses onto the cake, her tongue peeking out from the corner of her mouth in concentration. Each petal was a testament to her skill, a sugary rebellion against the kale smoothies and quinoa bowls that awaited her on Sunday. She finished the last rose with a flourish, then dusted the creation with edible glitter, making it shimmer like a fairy tale castle. This cake, a triple-layered chocolate fudge masterpiece, was her sanctuary, a sweet surrender to the pleasure her family so readily denied themselves. The memory of this morning's gym session still clung to her like stale sweat. She'd felt utterly ridiculous, a brightly colored flamingo amongst a flock of toned black swans. The weight machine had been particularly brutal. After fumbling with the settings for what felt like an eternity, she'd managed one pathetic rep before nearly dropping the entire stack on her foot. A nearby muscle-bound Adonis had offered a pitying smile and a condescending, "Let me show you how it's done," which she'd politely declined, retreating to the safety of the elliptical trainer where she could at least pretend to make progress while watching reruns of baking shows. Sunday loomed large, a weekly gauntlet of unsolicited advice and thinly veiled disapproval. She could already picture their faces: her mother, with her pursed lips and knowing glances; her father, lecturing on the benefits of a plant-based diet; her sister, Chloe, smug in her yoga pants, rattling off calorie counts like a human calculator. And then there was David, the accidental fitness guru. He'd be there too, caught in the crossfire, blissfully unaware of the sugar-coated lie she'd spun. She glanced at the clock. Almost time to close shop. The thought of facing her family, especially with the added pressure of maintaining the fitness facade, made her stomach churn, a feeling only slightly alleviated by the aroma of freshly baked sugar cookies. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was David. A simple text. "Gym tomorrow?" Maya hesitated, the frosting bag still clutched in her hand. She could feign illness, or a baking emergency. But something in his message, a hopeful eagerness, made her reconsider. Maybe, just maybe, she could survive another gym session. And maybe, just maybe, she wouldn't have to do it alone. She typed a reply. "Maybe. If you promise to teach me how to use those torture machines properly." A beat. Then his response. "Deal. And maybe I'll let you sample my protein shake. It's interesting." Maya chuckled, a genuine laugh that chased away some of the Sunday dinner dread. Interesting, coming from David, probably meant it tasted like grass clippings and sadness. But at least it was something. A small victory in the face of the impending health food onslaught. She sealed the cake box, tying it with a bright pink ribbon. Tomorrow, she'd face the gym, and Sunday, she'd face her family. But for now, she had a cake, a maybe date with a ridiculously charming guy, and a whole lot of buttercream to keep her company. The accidental coach. The weight machine groaned under Maya's uneven efforts. She grimaced, her face flushed, and nearly dropped the weights with a clang. "Careful there," a voice said. Maya jumped, startled. Alex stood beside her, a small smile playing on his lips. He gestured towards the machine. "You're locking your elbows at the top. Try a controlled release, keep a slight bend. It'll engage your muscles more effectively and save your joints." He wasn't wrong. Maya had been so focused on simply lifting the weight, form had gone completely out the window. "Easier said than done," she mumbled, embarrassed. "Let me show you." Alex positioned himself beside the machine, demonstrating the movement with smooth, deliberate control. The muscles in his arms flexed subtly. "See? Just like that. And breathe." Maya watched him, mesmerized for a moment. She copied his movement, focusing on the controlled release. It was better. "Huh. Actually feels a little different." "Different good, or different bad?" "Different good," she admitted, a small smile finally appearing. "Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. Anytime. Just trying to prevent any gym-related casualties." He winked. "So, big plans for the weekend?" An impulse struck Maya. Her family's Sunday dinners were a minefield of unsolicited advice and pointed questions about her life, her career, her everything. This week, the focus would undoubtedly be on her New Year's resolution to get healthy. Having Alex there, it would be a shield. A very attractive, surprisingly knowledgeable shield. Actually, she said a little too quickly, my family has this thing. Sunday dinners. They're kind of intense. You wouldn't, by any chance, want to join us? Alex's eyebrows shot up. Dinner with the family? That's quite an invitation. I know, it's crazy. Maya rushed on, already regretting her spontaneity. Forget I asked? They're really focused on my fitness goals, and you seem to know what you were doing back there, and… Hey! Alex interrupted, his voice gentle. It's okay. I'm game. I like a good challenge. Maya's stomach did a little flip. Really? Sure. Consider it artistic research. People watching at its finest. That Sunday, Maya's palms were slick with sweat as she pulled up to her family's house. Alex, sitting beside her in the passenger seat, seemed unnervingly calm. Just remember, she whispered, I might have implied that you're like my fitness coach. Alex chuckled. Implied? Maya, you practically wrote a thesis on it. Don't worry, I can play the part. But you owe me big time. The aroma of roasted chicken and Abuela Rodriguez's famous empanadas hit them as they walked through the door. The living room erupted in a cacophony of Spanish and English. Mija! Her mother enveloped her in a hug, then stepped back, her eyes scanning Maya critically. You look good. Different. Mom, this is Alex, Maya said, forcing a smile. He's my fitness coach. A hush fell over the room. All eyes turned to Alex. He offered a charming smile and extended a hand to her mother. Pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Rodriguez. Maya's a very dedicated student. Her mother's eyes narrowed slightly, but she shook Alex's hand. Welcome to our home, Alex. We are very happy Maya is finally taking care of herself. As Maya led Alex towards the dining room, she caught her abuela's eye. The old woman gave her a knowing wink. This was going to be a long afternoon. Healthy hysteria. The moment dessert plates were cleared, the interrogation began. So, Alex? Brianna started, her tone too sweet to be genuine. Maya tells us you're quite the fitness guru. Alex, ever the quick thinker, leaned back in his chair with a disarming smile. Guru might be a stretch, but I definitely enjoy helping people reach their fitness goals. Goals, eh? Grandpa Hector piped up, his eyes twinkling mischievously. Mine is to touch my toes again. Think you can work with that, son? He winked, causing Maya to choke on the last of her lemonade. Of course, Hector, Alex replied smoothly, completely unfazed. Flexibility is a crucial part of overall fitness. We can definitely work on that. He turned to Maya, a playful glint in his eyes. Maya's been telling me all about your impressive bocce ball skills. We wouldn't want you pulling a hamstring, now would we? Maya shot him a look that could curdle milk. He was enjoying this way too much. Brianna, however, wasn't buying it. And what are your qualifications exactly? Do you have any certifications? What's your training philosophy? Her questions were rapid fire, designed to trip him up. Alex maintained his composure. I'm a certified personal trainer, Brianna. I specialize in functional fitness and strength training. My philosophy is simple: find what you enjoy and make it sustainable. It's not about grueling workouts, it's about building healthy habits. He paused, making eye contact with each of them. And listening to your body. Brianna said, unconvinced. And what does a sustainable workout look like for someone? Let's say, someone who enjoys napping more than cardio? She directed the question at Maya, a knowing smirk playing on her lips. Before Maya could stammer out another lie, Alex jumped in. Everyone's different, Brianna. We'd start with something low impact, maybe some yoga or Pilates, focusing on core strength and flexibility. And of course, incorporating activities they genuinely enjoy. Maybe dancing? Hiking? Even power walking with a good podcast can do wonders. Grandpa Hector, who had been listening intently, slammed his fist on the table, rattling the silverware. Power walking! That's it! I've been needing a new hobby. Alex, you're a lifesaver. When do we start? Maya groaned inwardly. This was spiraling out of control. Grandpa, wait. But Hector was already pulling out his phone. I need to get some new walking shoes. Maybe those ones with the springs in them? What do you think, Alex? Springs or no springs? Alex, bless his heart, didn't miss a beat. Springs can be good for shock absorption, Hector, but proper support is key. We'll have to do some research. Brianna, though still skeptical, seemed slightly mollified by Alex's knowledge and his willingness to engage with their grandfather. But Maya knew this wasn't over. Her sister was like a bloodhound, and she wouldn't let go of this until she sniffed out the truth. The air in the dining room, thick with the scent of lemon bars and unspoken questions, felt heavier than a barbell loaded with all her anxieties. Faking the fitness. All right, Rodriguez. Alex clapped his hands, the sound echoing in Maya's cluttered garage. Time to sculpt that inner strength. He surveyed the space, eyes landing on a deflated yoga ball. We'll start with the existential bounce. Maya squinted. But what now? You bounce, Alex demonstrated, gently bopping up and down on the ball. And contemplate the fleeting nature of existence. Feel the burn of realization. Maya, ever the good sport or perhaps just desperate to keep up the charade, awkwardly mounted the ball. One bounce, two bounces, then a near-catastrophic wobble. Alex steadied her. Focus, Maya! Feel the universe in your glutes. Later, surrounded by cookbooks and the aroma of burnt sugar, another baking disaster, Maya and Alex huddled over a notepad. Okay, diet time, Maya said, chewing on the end of a pencil. They're expecting kale smoothies and chia seeds. Alex wrinkled his nose. Boring. We need something memorable. Something revolutionary. He grabbed a bag of flour. The Flour Power Diet. Everything's covered in a thin layer of flour. Makes you think twice before eating it. Maya stared at him, aghast. Alex, that's insane. Insanely genius. Think about it. Empanadas, but dusted with flour. Tacos, but... You get the picture. He scribbled furiously in the notepad. We can even market it. Flour Power, embrace the pail. That Sunday, the family assembled, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready for Alex's wisdom. All right, everyone. Alex began, radiating confidence. Today, we're focusing on the internal combustion workout. He led them outside, where he proceeded to have them do jumping jacks while reciting lines from Shakespeare. Aunt Sophia, bless her heart, almost tripped over a garden gnome. During lunch, he unveiled Maya's Flour Power creations, slightly less appealing than usual enchiladas, coated in a fine, white powder. Tio Ricardo eyed them suspiciously, but dutifully took a bite. Interesting. He mumbled, flour clinging to his mustache. Very earthy. Even Abuela, usually a bastion of culinary tradition, dipped her tamale in flour. Maya watched, mortified and strangely impressed by Alex's audacity. That evening, as Alex was leaving, Maya leaned against the doorframe. They actually bought it. Flour Power, Shakespearean jumping jacks, they bought it all. Alex grinned, the streetlight glinting in his eyes. People want to believe, Maya. They want the magic bullet, the secret sauce. Or, in this case, the flour-dusted enchilada. He paused, his smile fading slightly. But you know, this can only last so long. Maya sighed, feeling the weight of the charade pressing down on her. I know. She looked at him, gratitude warring with a confusing swirl of other emotions. Thanks, Alex. For everything. He just shrugged, that easy charm back in place. Anytime, Rodriguez. Just promise me, next Sunday, no more Shakespeare. Suspicious sister. The dining room buzzed, a cacophony of polite chatter and clinking crystal. Across the crowded expanse, Brianna observed Alex throw back his head, a bright peal of laughter escaping him at something Maya had uttered. The carefree sound grated. It felt too practiced, too picture-perfect. With undue force, she stabbed at a verdant spear of asparagus. "So, Alex," she began, her tone sharper than intended, "Maya mentioned you're in the fitness world. Where exactly did you get your certifications?" His smile remained unwavering, a fixed mask. "Oh, a few places. NASM, AC, and I specialized in sports nutrition through Precision Nutrition." The alphabet soup of acronyms rolled off his tongue effortlessly, fueling Brianna's growing unease. Anyone could memorize credentials. "And your place of employment?" she queried, pressing him further. "Freelance, mostly," Alex replied with a casual wave. "I value the independence. I maintain a small roster of clients, working with them at home or in local parks. Keeps life interesting, you know?" Brianna's skepticism deepened with each word. "Sounds precarious, building a stable income that way." Maya's cheeks flushed with a warning heat, her eyes flicking towards Brianna. "Give it a rest, Brianna. He's doing just fine." Ignoring her sister, Brianna held Alex's gaze. He remained seemingly unaffected by her scrutiny, the charming smile never wavering. "Just curious," she offered, forcing a lightness into her voice that felt artificial. Later, after Alex's departure and the family had scattered, Brianna discovered Maya in the kitchen, scrubbing the granite countertop with fervent energy. "He seems nice," Maya mumbled, her gaze averted. "He seems too well prepared," Brianna countered, leaning against the doorframe. "I'm just saying, Maya, you've only known him a short while." "Not long at all, really." Maya slammed the sponge onto the counter, the sound echoing in the sudden silence. "And you think you can dissect him in a few hours?" "You're being paranoid, Brianna." "Cautious," Brianna corrected sharply. "Someone has to be. He's evasive. And his responses feel overly rehearsed, like he's concealing something." Maya sighed, raking her fingers through her hair in frustration. "He's just trying to make a good impression on my family. Can you blame him for that?" Brianna remained silent, her mind already formulating a plan. She had to unearth the truth about Alex. An unsettling feeling gnawed at her. The following day, while Maya was at work, Brianna made a clandestine entry into her sister's apartment using her spare key. Guilt pricked at her conscience as she stepped inside. This wasn't her usual behavior, but the relentless unease compelled her. She commenced her search with Maya's laptop, subtly entering Alex's name into search engines and social media platforms. The results were barren. No professional profiles, no LinkedIn presence, no digital footprint whatsoever. It was as if he'd materialized out of thin air the moment he met Maya. Next, she cautiously moved to Maya's bedroom. She sifted through drawers, meticulously returning each item to its original position. She examined Maya's closet, hoping to uncover a gym bag or any indication of Alex's fitness profession. Nothing. Only Maya's typical assortment of vibrant, somewhat mismatched garments. Finally, she noticed a small, time-worn leather journal tucked away on a shelf. It was Maya's old college diary. Brianna hesitated, recognizing the ethical boundaries she was about to cross. But her determination hardened. She needed answers. Flipping through the pages, she scanned for any reference to Alex. Then, near the end, she found it. A solitary entry dated just a few weeks prior. "Alex is so secretive. He won't tell me exactly what he does for a living. He just says he's between projects. I hope he's being honest with me." Brianna snapped the journal shut, her pulse quickening. Maya harbored doubts, too. Doubts she was keeping to herself. Doubts she was attempting to ignore. Brianna understood then that she needed to delve deeper, even at the risk of damaging her relationship with her sister. The stakes were higher than she initially perceived. Artistic inspiration. The scent of burnt sugar hung heavy in the air, a testament to Alex's latest experiment. He stared forlornly at the deflated, hockey puck-like object that was supposed to be a healthy carrot cake, Maya's recipe mangled beyond recognition. "Okay," Maybe spelt flour and chia seeds don't exactly replicate the magic of all-purpose and butter, he admitted, poking the dense mass with a fork. Maya, perched on a stool, giggled. Magic? My cakes are more like happy accidents waiting to happen. Yours looks, well, determined. He grinned, relieved she wasn't offended. Determined to break your teeth, maybe. The frosting is even worse. Avocado and stevia. Who thought that was a good idea? He scraped a dollop onto his finger, grimaced, and offered it to Maya. Your professional opinion? She cautiously licked the green concoction. It tastes vaguely of lawn clippings. But points for effort? They dissolved into laughter, the disastrous cake momentarily forgotten. The kitchen, usually Maya's domain, was now a hilarious battleground of healthy substitutions gone wrong. Since Sunday dinner, Alex had taken it upon himself to healthify Maya's baking, a noble gesture fueled by the family's misinterpretation and his own growing attraction to the baker. It was a flimsy excuse to spend more time with her, a fact neither of them dared to acknowledge. Right, new plan, Alex declared, grabbing a whiteboard and scribbling furiously. Beetroot brownies. Surely, we can't mess that up. Maya raised an eyebrow. Famous last words. And please, less chia seeds this time. I think I'm starting to sprout. The next day, the family gathered hesitantly around the dining table. Alex, radiating false confidence, presented a platter of suspiciously dark, slightly gummy brownies. Beetroot and black bean brownies! Packed with protein and antioxidants! Tio Ricardo eyed the brownies with suspicion. Beetroot? In a brownie? Is this some newfangled health craze? Alex chuckled nervously. Just trying to add some nutrients. Maya helped, of course, he added, shooting her a pleading look. Maya forced a smile. Just a little inspiration. She picked up a brownie, broke off a tiny piece, and popped it into her mouth. Her eyes widened almost imperceptibly. Earthy! Her mom, Elena, ever the gracious hostess, took a bite. A delicate cough followed. Interesting texture. Very moist. Even Mateo, usually a bottomless pit for anything sweet, nibbled cautiously, his face a mask of polite confusion. It's different, Alex. Different good. The brownies were a disaster, another testament to the impossible task of turning Maya's sugary indulgences into health food. But amidst the awkward smiles and forced compliments, a sense of camaraderie had formed. They were all in on the charade, bound together by a shared secret and a growing affection for the charming, slightly clueless fitness coach, who was trying so hard to impress them. And maybe, just maybe, Maya was starting to see him as something more than just a gym buddy. Grandpa's gone wild. Grandpa Hector, bless his heart, had taken Alex's workout to a whole new level of committed absurdity. Alex, trying to cover his mortified grin, had suggested some unconventional stretches to loosen up after dinner. Things like pretending to be a flamingo balancing on one leg while flapping your arms and making bird noises. It had all been a joke, a desperate attempt to deflect Brianna's laser-like scrutiny. Now Grandpa Hector was in the living room, teetering precariously on one leg, a low squawk escaping his lips. Careful, Papa! Maya yelped, rushing forward to steady him. He smelled faintly of Abuela's roast chicken and impending doom. Nonsense, Mija! I feel rejuvenated. Grandpa Hector puffed out his chest, nearly losing his balance again. Alex, hovering nearby, subtly mimed a throat-slitting gesture at Maya. She glared back, a silent scream building in her chest. Brianna, perched on the edge of an armchair, arms crossed, watched the whole spectacle with thinly veiled disdain. So, this is your personalized training? She asked Alex, her voice dripping with skepticism. I must say, it's certainly unique. Alex swallowed hard. It's holistic, he stammered. We're engaging the core. Building proprioception. He threw in some fitness jargon he'd overheard at the gym, hoping it would sound convincing. Grandpa Hector, oblivious to the tension, transitioned into Alex's next suggested exercise, a series of exaggerated hip rotations while chanting a made-up mantra about inner peace. The mantra sounded suspiciously like a grocery list. Maya's cheeks burned. She wanted to disappear into the floral wallpaper. She had to put a stop to this. "Papa, maybe you should take it easy," she pleaded, tugging gently on his sleeve. "You don't want to pull a muscle." "Nonsense, Mija. A little pain is good. No pain, no gain, as they say." He winked, nearly knocking over a porcelain cat on the side table. Brianna's eyes narrowed. "He's going to throw out his back," she muttered, more to herself than anyone else. Then, louder, she said, "Alex, perhaps you could explain the scientific basis for these movements?" Alex felt a bead of sweat trickle down his temple. He was drowning in a sea of lies, and Brianna was a very observant lifeguard. He improvised wildly. "We're channeling energy," he said, gesturing vaguely. "Releasing endorphins. It's all about finding your inner flamingo." Grandpa Hector, apparently having found his inner flamingo, began flapping his arms with renewed vigor, accidentally smacking a framed photo of Abuela off the wall. The glass shattered. "Papa!" Maya shrieked, rushing to assess the damage. That was the final straw for Brianna. She stood up, her face a mask of controlled fury. "Okay, that's enough," she said, her voice dangerously low. "I've seen enough. This charade has gone on long enough." She turned to Maya, her eyes filled with disappointment. "Maya, I expected better of you. I thought you had more sense than to fall for this nonsense." Maya's shoulders slumped. She knew she couldn't keep up the pretense any longer. The truth was a dam about to burst, and she was about to be swept away by the flood. But as she opened her mouth to confess, Grandpa Hector, ever the showman, decided to try a somersault. The truth revealed? Brianna cornered Maya in the kitchen, a stack of papers clutched to her chest like a shield. The aroma of Abuela's simmering sauce hung heavy in the air, a stark contrast to the chill in Brianna's eyes. "We need to talk." Maya, attempting to rescue a burnt batch of plantains, nearly dropped the spatula. "Now? Can it wait? Dinner's almost ready." "No, it can't." Brianna slapped the papers on the counter, the sound echoing through the room. "I did some digging." Maya's stomach twisted. She knew that tone. This wasn't just sisterly teasing, this was Brianna on a mission. "Digging? What are you talking about?" Brianna pointed to one of the pages. Alex Chin. No personal training certification listed with any reputable organization. No social media presence beyond a LinkedIn profile with vague claims of wellness consulting. And she leaned in, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. His supposed gym membership? Expired 3 years ago. The plantain smoke stung Maya's eyes, mirroring the burn in her throat. There's an explanation. Is there? Or is this whole thing a ridiculous charade? Brianna's gaze bored into her. "You brought a complete stranger into our family, Maya. And you lied about who he is." Panic clawed at Maya's chest. I didn't mean for it to go this far." "Far? It's Sunday dinner, Maya. You're planning to parade him in front of Abuela, knowing this whole thing is a lie." Brianna's voice rose. "I'm not letting you do it. Either you tell everyone the truth tonight, or I will." Maya felt tears prick her eyes. She couldn't face the humiliation, the disappointment in her family's faces. "Please, Brianna, don't. Give me time." "Time? You've had weeks. This ends tonight, Maya." Brianna turned and swept out of the kitchen, leaving Maya alone with the sputtering plantains and the weight of her deception. Later, as Alex helped her set the table, Maya's anxiety was palpable. He bumped her elbow, sending a stack of napkins cascading to the floor. "Hey, you okay? You seem tense." Maya knelt to gather the napkins, her fingers brushing against his. Their eyes met, and in that instant, the unspoken tension between them crackled. He reached out, his thumb gently tracing the curve of her cheek. "Maya," he murmured, his voice low and sincere. "What's really going on?" She leaned into his touch, the comfort of his presence a temporary balm to her frayed nerves. It's all falling apart, Alex. Brianna knows. He pulled back slightly, his expression clouding with concern. Knows what? Everything. That you're not my trainer. That we lied. The words tumbled out, a desperate confession. Alex's gaze softened. We need to tell them, then. Together. I can't, Maya whispered, tears welling up again. They'll be so disappointed. They expect so much from me. He took her hands in his. They love you, Maya. They'll understand. And, he hesitated, his eyes searching hers, maybe they'll see what I see. His words hung in the air, a fragile promise amidst the impending storm. As they walked into the dining room, the clatter of silverware and the murmur of conversation washed over them. Maya looked at her family, their faces warm and familiar. She knew she couldn't keep up the facade any longer. The truth, like a tightly wound spring, was about to snap. She just wasn't sure if she had the courage to unleash it. Art saves the day. The roast chicken sat glistening on the table, surrounded by mountains of mashed potatoes and green bean casserole. Grandpa Hector, oblivious to the simmering tension, was attempting a hamstring stretch by hooking his foot over the back of his chair. Brianna, however, was far from oblivious. She surveyed Alex with the intensity of a hawk eyeing a field mouse. Maya took a deep breath, ready to launch into her carefully rehearsed speech about Alex being more than just a fitness coach, when Alex cleared his throat. Before we dig in, he said, a mischievous glint in his eye, I wanted to share something with you all. He gestured towards a large, flat package leaning against the wall, previously unnoticed. It's a little thank you for welcoming me into your home. He pulled away the wrapping to reveal a series of portraits. Not photographs, but paintings. Beautifully rendered, vibrant paintings of each family member. There was Brianna, her steely gaze softened by a hint of amusement. Grandpa Hector, mid-stretch, captured in a moment of comical concentration. Even Maya's abuela, who usually looked stern, was depicted with a subtle, affectionate smile. And then there was Maya herself, laughing, her hair a riot of dark curls, utterly unguarded. A stunned silence filled the room. Brianna was the first to break it. You painted these? Alex nodded, a sheepish smile spreading across his face. Yeah. It's what I do. Well, one of the things I do. He explained how he'd been sketching them during their meals, capturing snippets of their personalities in each portrait. He spoke with a passion and artistry that Maya had never witnessed before, a side of him she hadn't known existed. Grandpa Hector, finally upright, shuffled closer to his portrait, peering at it through his thick glasses. Well, I'll be. You even got my bad knee. Brianna, her skepticism momentarily forgotten, examined her portrait with a critical eye, then a slow smile crept onto her face. It's actually quite good, Alex. Maya's heart swelled. The portraits had disarmed them, bypassed their defenses. She looked at Alex, a wave of tenderness washing over her. He wasn't just some handsome fitness coach, he was an artist, a perceptive observer, a soul who saw beauty in the everyday. Now was the time. He's not just my fitness coach. Maya blurted out, the words tumbling out in a rush. We're dating. The room went quiet again, but this time, it was a comfortable silence. The portraits had paved the way, softened the ground. Brianna raised an eyebrow. Dating, huh? And this fitness coach story was a lie. Maya admitted, cringing. A stupid, clumsy lie. The tension dissipated like steam from a kettle. Even Abuela cracked a smile. Well, Mija, next time, just tell the truth. It's less complicated. Later, after the roast chicken had been devoured, and the portraits were hanging proudly on the walls, Alex and Maya found themselves in the kitchen. Maya pulled out the ingredients for a cake, determined to salvage the day's dessert plans. I'm a terrible baker, she confessed, flour dusting her nose. I can handle a cake, Alex said, rolling up his sleeves. We'll even sneak in some zucchini for good measure. They worked side by side, laughing as they clumsily mixed the batter, adding a touch of zucchini, a dash of cinnamon, and a whole lot of love. The kitchen filled with the warm, comforting scent of baking cake, a sweet aroma that masked the lingering smell of awkwardness. It wasn't the perfectly healthy, protein-packed dessert Maya's family expected, but it was honest, imperfect, and made with love. It tasted like a fresh start, like Sunday dinners to come, filled with truth, art, and maybe just a little bit of healthy subversion.